So what's going on, Melanin Fitness Nation? We got another one of our KinFolks in the hot seat, and we get to get all the tea from her. So this is Jamese. She is here with me. She's going to give me all the tea on her fitness journey. But of course, you know how we always start our call. So Jamese, I'm going to put you on the clock. You're going to have 60 seconds to tell us anything about yourself. It can be health related, it can be wellness related, it can be personal, work related, whatever you want to share with us. And you have 10 seconds right now to gather your thoughts if you can.
Okay.
In 3, 2, go.
Hi, my name is Jamese Sims, and I am here today to talk with you about my fitness journey. I've lost over 120 pounds. I enjoy working out. I am a single mom of a wonderful 10-year-old son. I am a scientist. I have a doctorate in atmospheric sciences. I also dabble in artificial intelligence, and I have a very busy life, but health and wellness is really important to me. So I look forward to continuing our conversation today.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Anything else? Yeah. You got 60 seconds.
And I do also, enjoy talking with people and learning their journeys as well. And the main thing is to let people know, that if I could do it, not being an athlete previously, then anyone can do it as well. So just start and you'll see how fun it is. So
that's it. That's it. That is all. Thank you so much for that introduction. Thank you so much. So the $1 million question, of course, is tell us about your fitness journey. How did you start? How did you get involved? Tell us how you lost the 120 plus pounds that you've lost and standing in your truth today.
Sure. So I was never an athlete growing up. I actually used to get my parents to write a note to my PE teachers, in school to tell them that for whatever reason, I couldn't do the workouts or participate that day. But, as I got older and began to understand the connection between exercise and eating right, and how that impacts our bodies and our health, I wanted to see what I could do. And so when I was a graduate student at Howard, some of my classmates who are really now family to me, we started working out together. And back then I lost a lot of weight. That was back in probably 2008, 2009. And then life happened. So I was pregnant in 2012. But before that, I will say that I experienced sexual assault. And even after having my son, it was something that I had pretty much blocked out of my mind and held on to for 4 years. I became a mom and focused directly on my son and, making sure that he was taken care of. When I finally acknowledged the sexual assault, it was around 2015. And my body responded as if it had just happened. And I realized looking back now that I had put myself in a cocoon for the most part. And a lot of people don't understand that connection between what happens to you mentally when you experience trauma like that. And in my mind, I was hiding, it was like, if I have all of this weight, then you can't see me, and I know that that's not the way to think now, but that's really what happened. But from that, I also ended up having a lot of health issues. I found out that I had fatty liver disease. I was having fibrosis, I had fibrosis, and the doctor told me that I was on my way to cirrhosis if I didn't make a drastic change. I also noticed that I was having neurological issues. I had tingling in my hands and feet and just miserable for the most part. And I'm looking at my son and I was like, I have to be here for him. I want to be here for him, and I want to be active with him, not just existing, but I want to thrive and have a really good quality of life. And so I asked my doctor, I said, well, I've been trying to work out and I get dizzy when I'm working out, at home, and it's really scaring me. I said, so, that's a barrier to me losing weight. And oftentimes doctors will tell you you need to lose weight, but then there's no path, no support for actually doing that. And so I said, so when does bariatric surgery come into the conversation? And so, he told me, he said, honestly, I would love for you to take that route if that's what you want to do, because within a year, you could come back and see most of these health issues gone away. And so he referred me to a doctor in Rockville, Maryland. And the journey started there. I had surgery in May of 2019, and I was determined to make sure that I was healthy, from then on, do what I could. So as soon as they told me I could start, lifting weights, it's that gradual increase in pounds and things like that that you can lift along the journey. I started lifting, and I was working out. I was working out at home at first, and then I finished the program that I was doing at home, and I told a friend that I wanted to get into a sport. I wanted to keep myself challenged. And so he said, well, you should probably try CrossFit because that'll prepare you for any sport. So I got into CrossFit. From there, I started doing powerlifting and competing in different CrossFit competitions as well as powerlifting competitions. And then I moved from Maryland to Mississippi. And when I moved, that community that I had built in Maryland, at my CrossFit gym and everything, we were really close. And so when I moved, it was like, oh, now I have to start over and find my people again. But I noticed that I was just not as into CrossFit as I was previously. And so my same friend, thank God for him, he was like, well, I told you, you should have hit the stage a couple of years ago. Maybe it's time for you to start bodybuilding, because I did tell him that that was a goal of mine. If I, lost the weight, I wanted to participate in bodybuilding competitions. So he actually recommended that I contact Samika Cash, who is my virtual coach. She's excellent. She's in Memphis, Tennessee, and she owns her own gym, which is very powerful to me because in this industry, in the fitness industry, it's very rare for a Black woman to be that successful and own their own gym and everything. And so we immediately connected, and I've been working with her ever since. And I participated in my first bodybuilding competition a couple of weeks ago, July 22nd, and I have one coming up in August 12th. So that's where I am, 120 pounds down from where I was in 2019. I feel great. Most of those health issues that I had, I no longer have to deal with. So very thankful for that.
So first, I have to say thank you so much for sharing that you had surgery. That is huge. So for you to share that in the level of authenticity that you have and transparency that you have talking about it, we appreciate that because everybody's journey is different. And that's the reason why we're doing these interviews, because there is somebody that's going to be able to relate to this very story that you have. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. So let's get more into your interview. So talk to us about what advice, if you could give somebody just starting out, let's just say they're starting out, they have no idea where to start. What advice would you give somebody starting on their fitness journey now?
I would say, have an open mind for sure. We have so many ideas about what the fitness journey should look like, what society has told us we should even look like. And a lot of that, I think, instills fear in us sometimes, but it also blocks out, our abilities to really go after what it is that we can be, because we're oftentimes comparing our journeys to someone else. And whereas we can certainly glean information and be motivated and inspired by others, we do have to remember that it's a personal journey. The other thing that I would say is so often people, and I was like this too in the beginning, focusing on what has to be taken away. I would say focus on adding things. For example, and I am no nutritionist, I'm not a personal trainer yet or anything, but I would say gather the mindset of adding things versus taking away.
I
For
like.
example, if you want to say just for 1 week, I'm going to add an extra bottle of water to my daily routine. You know what I mean? Or I'm going to add an extra serving of vegetables to my plate. I'm going to add 30 minutes of walking or 15 minutes of walking, whatever, have that mindset of abundance versus taking things away. And I think that causes an automatic shift in the way that we look at it, and that way we can feel like it's something we can achieve versus something that's completely impossible.
I like that.
So that would be my advice. Keep an open mind and think about what you're adding, not taking away.
Okay, I like that. So, one question that I do have for you is, since you are raising a young king yourself, how do you talk about health and wellness, and what steps do you take to let him know about your health journey?
I let him see it. I let him, live it with me. I was looking at some videos, how your phone can bring up some memories, from
Mhm.
years ago. And it was a video of him in the gym with me, in my CrossFit gym. And like I said, we had such a strong community there. A coach was showing him how to do the clean and jerks.
Mhm.
So I bring him to the gym with me. And even with the bodybuilding competitions, of course, the women have to wear the bikinis and things like that. I remember showing my mother, a competitor, to prepare her for what it was that I was about
Mhm.
to. Now, keep in mind, I was raised in the South, and this is completely abnormal from,
Mhm.
and so I was showing it to her, and one of the first things that she did, first of all, she tried to have like a Fred Sanford heart attack and call on my dad. And after she did that, it was, well, what is Jordan going to think? Jordan's my son. And so
Mhm.
I said, hold on, let's see. So I called him in the room and I said, sweetie, what do you think of mommy participating in this competition? And so my mom showed him the video that we were looking at, and he said, she's gonna win. And he walked away.
Nice. I love it. Oh, I love it. I love it.
So I've talked to him a lot about why I'm doing what it is that I'm doing, and explained to him that it's about longevity. Oftentimes we may hear, well, this is what it's like to get old, when people may be struggling with arthritis and other types of things. But I tell him that, yes, we may have to, face those health issues, but at the same time, there are certain things that we can do to hopefully have a better quality of life. And I'd rather us do those things than to just say, this is what's going to happen because I'm getting older. So, I try to instill in him to have a positive body image, as we go along. And now I will say that I do allow him to indulge in unhealthy foods, probably
Okay.
too much, because but at the end of the day, we're talking about the importance of drinking water and eating correctly. So that's it. I bring him along the journey with me. He goes to the gym with me now, and oftentimes asks to do so.
Mhm. I love
So
it. That's
yeah.
amazing. That's amazing. So, tell us three of your favorite snacks.
Oh my goodness.
And they do not have to be healthy snacks.
Okay. All right. So my top snack is peanut butter.
Okay. I just finished some. So, okay, that's
And,
great.
and when I tell you I can just take a jar and a spoon and just go in on it, oh my God. And that has to do a lot with, like I said, I had surgery. And
Mhm.
so my stomach just cannot handle a lot of what everybody else can. And I found that I could handle peanut butter. So that's like my guilty pleasure now.
Mhm.
If I could, I would eat cake all of the time.
What flavor? What flavor?
So I enjoy baking, and that I change up the pound cakes
Okay.
that I bake, but I do also love like the birthday cake that you can get from the grocery store. I used to go and buy, how they have like the small cakes that are
Mhm.
kind of individual but still too big. I
Mhm.
used to go and buy those and just have it. Didn't have to be anybody's birthday or anything. I would just sit and eat it. So Um,
Okay.
that was one of my favorites. And I love fruit as
Okay.
well. Um, and being back here in Mississippi, there are some fruits that really bring back those memories for me. My son and I were in Walmart the other day, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's a plum!" One of those red juicy plums. I was like, "You have to try this." So I got some for him and my mom. My dad used to bring them home for us all of the time. So those are some of the things that I, really enjoy snacking on.
Okay. So talk to us about life in Mississippi when it comes to health and wellness, because as we know, Mississippi is not the healthiest state. So talk to us about what your journey is like in Mississippi.
Believe it or not, where I am here in Starkville, there are actually a lot of gyms here.
Okay.
And when I moved, because people can look at me and see that I'm into fitness, that's what they were telling me. They were like, "You'd be surprised at just how many gyms there are here." I mean, from CrossFit to other types of training. I go to a private gym now, and then at the university, of course, there's a fitness center there as well. So, there are many opportunities to exercise and work out. What I will say is that a lot of us, when I was growing up, we mostly ate the traditional soul food meals, which is awesome, um, and taste great. So a lot of it for me, going back to my parents, I remember when I was losing weight, even before, it was a huge adjustment for them to see me, in a smaller frame than what I was. And a lot of it also had to do with the foods, me saying, "No, I'm not going to eat that now because I have this goal."
Mhm.
And that even happens now. My mother, bless her soul, she will, when she's eating something, "You want some? You can't have it. Oh, I feel so bad for you." And I'm like, "Don't feel bad for me." So but there are a lot of, like I said, a lot of, healthy options. It's certainly doable. If you want to go this route, you just have to make up your mind that that's what you're going to do. And I think that's for anywhere, not just in Mississippi. One thing that I do want, though, is to continue to share knowledge with people, because a lot of people do want to know more about how to be healthy. And it's not a conversation that we have often enough, I think. Because like I said, there are so many stereotypes about or just thinking one way,
Yeah.
when it comes to fitness and things like that. And so a lot of people think that it's something they can't achieve when it comes to those lifestyle changes. So being able to have those conversations, I think, is good. So I'm looking into doing that a lot more.
Nice, nice. So tell us, how did you find the Melanin Fitness Nation community? How were we so lucky to have you align with us? Tell us how you got here.
Yeah, so I think that it must have come from either me doing searches on Instagram and coming
Okay.
across the page, or it may have been one that came up in some conversations during powerlifting
Okay.
competitions. I'm not sure, but I'm so glad to have found it. And here's one reason why. Um, the CrossFit community and even other communities, when it comes to fitness, we are often not represented to the extent that I feel like we could and should be. And so, finding your page and being able to see us, to see myself in others and in what they're doing, is a great feeling. And it's those types of things that keep us, motivated and feeling like we belong, no matter where we are. So very happy for what it is that you're doing and what it is that you're sharing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of that. Thank you. So, we're at another part of our conversation, and it's going to be called Turning Tables. So, this is an opportunity for you to be able to ask me any question that you would like me to answer.
Sure. So, what do you think is a way that we can also support sharing healthy information and fitness information on an individual basis? How can we support what it is that you're doing?
So I really think like just tagging anything that we do virtual things as well. So just sharing, even if we do, typically it's virtual yoga, or we'll have a virtual lift off because we did have a virtual powerlifting event. So just sharing, even if you're not into yoga, like, hey, yoga is not my thing, but they're doing it. There might be somebody that's following you, like, oh gosh, this is great. Let me just join in on yoga. So really that, and showing up for our events. We're working on a couple of things in order to get more into the community and be able to give back, working on some programs and stuff. So when that time comes, just sharing the information, sharing the knowledge, and just being present if you can, volunteering time, and just talking about what we have going on. Because I think for the most part, the more we spread the word and say what we're trying to do, then when it's time for us to come and convene together and talk about real plans moving forward, you're already a part of the conversation. You're already a part of the story.
Awesome. Wonderful. Yeah, that's the main question that I have because, like I said, it's so important to build that community, across the board. And social media is a really powerful tool right now. So, yeah, thank you.
So tell us, when is the next competition that you are going to be participating in?
The next competition is August 12th
Okay.
in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Okay.
So I'm really excited about that. It is, just another opportunity, I feel like, to learn and to meet new wonderful people and continue to grow. I'm a lifelong learner. And so the more that I can understand about myself and become aware, the more that I can also help someone else along their journey. So I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. So please share a flyer with us. We will definitely post it. We will tell our people in Mississippi to come out and support you if they have the opportunity and time to do so. We are so excited to hear about you getting on the stage again to represent not only yourself, but your son and your family and everybody that stood in the gaps in between on your journey. So we're super excited to hear about you taking first place. Like your son said, you're going to win. That's it.
Thank
You're
you
going to win. You're going to win. So that
Thank
is all we have. We have already got some tea from Miss Janice here. So this, Jamese, it's been so
you.
good to get information from you. Thank you so much. We probably need to check back in with you to find out what new you have going on later in the year or next year. We hope to have you share space with us, maybe for the Atlanta Masters Classic, or maybe even a lifting competition. But we're super excited for all the things you and your coach are doing. So keep being great. We love it.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. Until next time, Melanin Fitness Nation, make sure you tune in for another story.